Greetings. And how is everyone today?
Wonderful.
What would you like to talk about? Any one of you.
I know we've talked about this a little bit before, but I would like to find out a little bit more about raising consciousness, the massive consciousness, through frequency.
Interesting question. To understand frequencies and raising this consciousness, you must know that the frequencies that you already live on, the plane of your own reality, where you are at. Take, for instance, the Earth's frequency. It is changing its own frequency by a small little bit of a margin. And the frequencies that are around you are also changing. And it is interesting because the bandwidth of what you are changing with those frequencies on an unusual natural occurrence. Because we say unusual because the frequencies are changing a little bit faster than they have in the past. And you are allowing these changes within yourself, and you're harmonizing yourself with them as well as the rest of humanity. So you take, for instance, the frequencies that you are in, and you look at some of the things that you now have new controls about. So you're now taking back a sense of yourself, a sense of also responsibility. There are methods to be able to do this a little bit easier that can make it in better transition for certain parts. For you take, for instance, the vibrations of the music world, for instance, they are tuned in certain frequencies. They are tuned, and there are some hertz that are more compatible to the ear that you have. Now, does not mean that this is what you need to be doing. It can be a helpful tool for your healing purposes, for your organs that are in your body that are also on the same frequency as the earth. So they're finding in lots of different scientific ways the most easiest way to move across this earth, and many times they are just simply matching up with the frequencies that are within the earth. So there are different types of frequencies that we may be talking about here. And then there is consciousness, which is a whole nother vibration, an animal, as you might say, that you can be also tapping into. And these frequencies are on all sorts of scales. And so there is quite a bit of wave pattern that happens here when we are talking about frequencies. But you will naturally attract the type of frequencies that come easily to you. That are easily something that you attract in your natural basis, part of the world.
Could you elaborate or talk a little bit more about, I know we vibrate with the frequencies of the planet, but the planet is also filled with minerals, with gems. It's even the frequencies that the ocean holds from the life the ocean has in it.
Yes.
So to increase the consciousness using those things that the planet has for us, say the gem and mineral world, can we enhance our own consciousness through not only through meditation and concentration, but can we use the gem and mineral world to enhance through frequencies of consciousness?
Your scientists are beginning to use the mineral world as it is now. It is in all types of computers now. It is a memory. They are storing lots of information, and the information can be recorded and coded into these types of minerals that you are speaking about. And yes, you can use certain minerals for benefits It used to be done much more in a past time here on this earth, much more recognized as so. Not so much as it is now. But you must remember, when it comes to the light that is being harnessed here on this earth, humans have the most capability to harness those light vibrations. They are taking new ideas, materializing them with their thoughts and through their actions, and they are bringing new ideas, new ways and systems forward. They are not living the same exact life as they used to live before. You are seeing this happen faster and faster now as society is changing. Even the ideas behind war, the ideas behind understanding what is happening around them, they are taking back some of their power that they have freely given away in so long. And that's sort of the changes that are bringing most about. You can be searching for certain types of things that resonate with things. For instance, if you were to be in a healing modality, you can use more of these crystalline frequencies that, yes, these crystals are part of the earth and they are one of the more higher frequencies that are there in your realms. You also have this in the kingdoms of plants as well. The trees, for instance, the most tallest trees are grounding the most amount of information and light. Some are a little bit more capable of the others. The redwoods, for instance, have this capability of grounding a little bit higher frequencies. They are more or less the ambassadors for some of the life frequencies that are being grounded onto your earth. And humanity is what we would say is also that great grounding of information, of ever-flowing light, these great epiphanies, ahas that come to you. You are the great mineral kingdom, the great grounding of much of the new ideas, new systematic ways, and new thinking. The edge of what it is that you were before is not quite the same. And you react different to a new situation. These are some of the great changes that are happening now. And how would you tap into some of this? And yes, with a variety of different frequencies that are throughout the whole planet, well, is to incorporate all of them. Is to understand that it is a harmony, a great orchestra, that if you use all of the keys, you can be tapping and doing much more than just the mineral kingdom alone. There is much to be learned from all the different elements that are here. It is naturally for you and is part of you. So tapping into oneself and also its surroundings can bring more of this around. And your surroundings don't include just this earth. Yes, we are talking about a much greater scale here than this small platform we call earth. The most beneficial ways is to understand your own energy and your field of energy and what you are experiencing as the experiencer. Allow for the new situations to arise in yourself. Take and look at all situations that are occurring in your life and transmute the ones that you do not wish to have so much of, and bring more of the ones that you would like to have as an occurrence of something that feels good to you. Does this help? We know we are talking on many different levels here.
Yes. One thing, yes, it does help tremendously. One thing, the vibration of frequencies of different diseases or diseases that are on this planet. One of them being cancer, that is really it's really moving with a great strength throughout this country and the world both. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Some of the things that are hereditary, that are within the vibration of your own cells, these have been family traits that you feel that must be continuing on. You can become begin to change that and alter that part of yourself, that DNA. Some of this is also through, yes, the law of attraction. You are bringing this about. But yes, these vibrations, these diseases, is a dis-ease within your body. It means a dis-vibration that is congruent to that part of yourself that wishes the other side of things, which is of much more wellness. But you have been in the frequencies of certain things that have allowed new situations such as disease to be congruent with it. But you can heal diseases, you can heal cancer, and it is through altering the vibration enough to truly believe and know that this can be done. It can be done, and once you're in a new vibration, it cannot be harmonized with you anymore. It is frequencies that we are speaking of, but your body is an energy. It is a vibration. And changing those vibrations long enough, tuning it to a new vibration, to a new pattern, out of the pattern that was existing there, can change it if it is done long enough, well enough, and accepted throughout the whole cellular memory of the whole body. Then the body begins to change out of that vibration. And it is part of allowing and feeling the unlimitedness of yourself. It is part of believing that you can be one that is healed. It is not necessary of certain things, although certain things can be helpful. There will be greater aspects that will be understood by the simple understanding of who you are and harnessing that greater part of yourself forward into situations that you especially do not like to be occurring in.
Thank you.
I'm a light worker. At least that's what I label myself as. I work with frequencies. I work with the mass consciousness. Is there a way you can suggest that would benefit mankind to more readily accept who we are? Because what I find is people don't refuse to believe who I believe we really are.
First of all, we commend you for calling yourself under such a great name. But it is not something that we want to say that you must be the teacher of the lessons of humanity, but more or less a way shower, more of a person by living through example. The tipping scales are here now of how many of you type are here. In other words, people that are awakening and understanding who they are from a new sense and what new types of systems can be wrought about. But remember, it is not exactly up to you to take on the energy of all and to try to transmute all things that are around you. It is good for you to internalize these things and these mechanisms to see how they work within yourself first. To master much of your own part of your life that troubles you. But also to be an example, not necessarily the great teacher in many cases. Although when a person comes to you and they are wanting to learn, yes, you can give them the information that they are open to. Much of this is what you may understand might be a little bit complex to what they are in. And it's a hard modality when you say, well, you're creating a world, when they are obviously creating a terrible world for themselves and not enjoying what it is that they are doing. And so they feel some resistance to you. It is not a common ground, you may say. So first find the commonalities that they already understand and work with those understandings and meanings that could be more beneficial in enhancing what it is that they already understand to some degrees, and then live your life simply understanding these degrees and masteries within yourself. The keeper himself, he struggles with some of these same aspects within himself. For he's one thing here, and he's another place, and another time. So we say it is good that you want to embark on such a great journey. And yes, it could come to a time where you branch out and become that great teacher within yourself. We are not trying to inhibit that either. But you need to collect within yourself a vibration, a like-minded sort of understanding type of group that can harness much of the energy that you are talking about and have the likeness of what it is that you are. It is not necessary that you must have all of this together, but to simply start working with what is the most easiest things that they can comprehend at the time. For much information is too much at one given time, and it sort of crashes the system for them within themselves to see what it is that you understand.
You know, along the same lines in that discussion, feeling good is a way to really be connected and zoned into life and living at our highest level. And in today's life and in all of life in the past, I mean, there's times when people feel really good, and then they go to that place where they feel like crap, and they don't feel good. And obviously feeling good is the way to really walk connected in life and being all that we can be. What is there a spark within us that we can connect with, or we can align with, or whatever, that can keep us more in that focus, that perception, that point of attraction to stay in that place of feeling good?
It is the spark within yourself. It's a very interesting question. We're going to take a very lighter look at this. Have you ever been in a situation where you are speaking with perhaps your girl that you are with, and instead of a great argument that was about to ensue, there was a kind of a joke, a humorous sort of thing, and it took a new turn unexpectedly, very quickly, instead of turning out to be kind of a hard thing to go through, and a more or less a greater, a head-butting sort of situation.
Diversion, yes.
Yes, a diversion. Sometimes you can head off great misery by just simply creating these little diversion points. But there are times that you must discuss what it is that you feel that is important within yourself. And so the ways that you can go about these sort of discussions, these ways of communicating, is simply changing maybe more of the emotional factor within yourself and toning things down on a smaller degree. If you disagree on a certain level, that you can have a more of a compromise without so much emotion attached to the outcome. That takes some practice and some will within yourself, and to recognize it in the moments of those times, and to take a little bit of a lighter step on the whole situation. And you can also ponder before, if this is a situation you know you're going into, what is the worst possible outcome that can be created if your personal reality isn't going to play out the way you were hoping, and what personal belief systems that you have in play that isn't so congruent with who you are, and if what is the worst sort of situation that could come out of that. And that understand that you are trying to discuss one matter and not many at once may help bring a more narrow focus on what is taking in place and transpiring.
Along those same lines, I know that there's no assertion in this world, but what about how can we do a better job of connecting with our inner being, with our guides, to support us in a focus of being all we can be here? Is that something that's plausible?
It's possible to the degree that you feel it is possible. You can, for instance, be very good at something that you are doing. Say, take for instance, work. You may be good at a certain energy within that. And when you are in this frequency of who you are, working on that particular project, you are in a sense becoming more of who you can be. You are still finding new situations, even learning within the situations of what it is that you are doing to become slightly better at what it is that you are trying to perform. And so you are channeling a new information all the time, and yet you are channeling the same information and it feels the same, but you are becoming a master at something. You can master much of this sort of thing, the same sort of degrees, in much of your life. You have done many things over and over again. But it is what you do differently that creates a better, more efficient, more positive outcome that you see within yourself, that creates its own flavor, its own world around the situation. And so you can harness some of those dynamics through the everyday process when you are doing and going about your business, knowing that you are mastering certain things. For instance, you can eat a burrito, for instance, and you can consume it rather fast, or you can really enjoy what is there. And you can even doctor it up in any sort of way you would like in the vibrations that you find are the most greatest and expansiveness to the harmonization of who you are, and enjoy every single bite. And that is going to bring a new flavor, a new energy within yourself. It may even be more of a vitality for yourself, as it is not quite the same burrito anymore.
With that, then, practicing all the different variations of vibration then would be a good thing in terms of ferreting those out. Is that correct?
Yes, practice and play with vibration. It is good. You will find what you do not like very well, and you will also find what you do like, and you will begin to gather more of what you do like and the great varieties.
It sounds then like in moving towards the things we like, which we can't help but do that because we always move towards what we want to move towards, but to the degree that we can't accomplish that in the fashion we want to the speed we want to, is that got to do with the beliefs that are contrary to that happening? I mean, is that what it all boils down to?
Yes, it boils down to the beliefs that you believe that it cannot happen in a certain range, time, frequency zone. Some of those things, yes, you cannot manifest things right away in this reality, but it's things on the horizon that are just out of your reach are getting more reachable at a faster pace now.
So, that being the case, then it's not about what we're trying to accomplish as much as it is our belief. I mean, in terms of the things that one might think that it would take a pretty good time, a period to accomplish it, in the past is becoming shorter. So, to the degree that that's the case, we can accomplish it quicker if we believe so. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Could we even speed up the time of that accomplishment?
To small varying degrees. The speeding up of time and the slowing down of time has changed somewhat over the last year. The variables are beginning to be more in your control. You cannot do very much now, and it will be on a very, very small scale that you can do some of these types of things. But yes, you can in fact, in some ways, speed or slow down time. But they're going to be on much smaller scales. These are some of the changes that are taking place. Manifesting what it is that you have within yourself is going and has been changing over time. The things on the horizons, the things that are hard to comprehend to being able to happen within your lifetime, within yourself, within a certain time frame, money for instance, or abundance, those sorts of things that you feel are a little bit out of your reach, they can come into factoring plays with your belief systems and brought through in a whole nother fashion as you allow and become more limitless in your being. Many of you are already studying some of these ways to bring some of this forward. Keep trying. Keep playing. Allow yourself to make the mistakes. It's okay if it doesn't happen, as long as you are manifesting it faster than you are realizing it was going to be done. Recognize those times that you are doing those things and applaud yourself. Notice what you are doing different. The feelings within yourself that is attracting and bringing the momentum to the situation.
In playing with all of that, there's a term used here, one of intuition. Is our intuition information we've accessed from all time that we bring in with us? And is that a frequency that if we ran out of our intuition or aligned with our intuition, so to speak, would that, I'm not looking for a quickened time, but would that quicken the time of our awareness and more consciousness?
First of all, we say you will never run out of intuition. It is a natural, infinite part of your expanded part of yourself that you are all connected to in different degrees. But you all are connected very much to the intuition, the infinite, the things that you don't know exactly why you are doing these things, but it feels right and true to yourself. Yes, you can bring more of this and you can bring more of the happenings, and you don't know why that this may be an intuitive thing for yourself, but it is. Follow along on these intuitions that you have. They are synchronicities that are in play for you. You may find that some intuitions may not have been so intuitive in the end, but it's okay. You're starting to realize what it is that you are attracting. Your unique vibration is going to naturally cause the new parts of yourself to come forward in situations that are not always known to you. And it will be unique in a sense. But allow yourself these situations to move yourself forward. Bringing new intuitive ideas, new intuitive thoughts, forming a new place and a reality. You will begin to form new vibrations, bonds with other types of like vibrations, and it will propel that momentum that you have forward, and you will see the horizons much faster.
By allowing what we truly want in our life, say something as great, as incredible as peace, And when peace doesn't always manifest itself,
then you have another vibration that you're not quite aware of that is happening simultaneously at the time that you are trying to understand and bring in the peace. So you must look at the vibrations that you are all about. Vibrations of feelings, vibrations of thought patterns, belief systems, the things and the roles that you are playing in. And reevaluate some of those, because there is a vibration that is not quite incongruent with that part of yourself that wants the peace. And so you have a mixed vibration. And much of this is true in so many different levels throughout all of humanity and individuals of yourselves. We all have pet peeves. But you must know that these are vibrations and belief systems within each of you. It is not necessarily a bad thing. It is what you can simply harmonize those things with others. And also recognizing that others have such sort of belief systems that will never be the same as yourself. And they are all putting out different vibrations, but it is just simply you need to become aware of the vibrations and the circumstances that you would like to create for yourself and know where these other vibrations are coming from and reevaluate. Look at the details, the problematic things that are happening within your life, and the structures that you have in play. And then how you are reacting with those things. And then you'll be able to create more peace and harmony with those things.
Well, there's a hook in trying to create others' reality also, correct?
There is a hook
Yes.
in trying to create others' realities. There is the reality of what it is that you should be most focused on. For the realities of others is not going to necessarily follow the same suit as what you feel that it should be. Many times this is passed on to kids. They try very hard to teach kids to be a one sort of way vibration. And we know, you know, that kids come in with varying vibrations. They come in with their own personalities as it is, and they are going to do certain things throughout their life regardless of what it is that they may have been absolutely taught to you by your way of wanting it to be. This is not a bad or a good thing. It is just part of their vibration of doing certain things their way, just as you do. And so there is the vibrations that we'd like to look at, that you facet within yourself, and there's the vibrations of others. And you are playing a creation game, not for others, but for yourself. And you're going to harmonize with the others to be able to understand how you can relate and how you play a key role, but also support, by using that fulfillment that is already naturally within yourself. It may be a hard subject to try to learn everyone into the way you believe that things should be. And yes, these ways may be a great system within yourself. It is part of the light that you are bringing to earth yourself. But you must understand the true happiness that you will feel will not be in the change that you see in others. It will be the change that you bring within yourself and the situations that in the experiencing of your own personal life that is enhancing and fulfilling to you. And then you will be filled in that happiness that you have.
Is it sometimes necessary to break relationships in order to fulfill what you need or want in life?
In some cases, yes, relationships aren't going to be there forever. For instance, it is now you can see within this world there is an ever-changing vibration that is happening within humanity and within yourselves. You will not stay the same vibration as you were. And many times these vibrations go their own sorts of ways because the vibrations are not really with each other. And so you find and will tend to attract another type of vibration because you are a different vibration. And you are a different vibration in that last moment, in that last moment, in this moment, in this moment. You are an ever-changing being, and you are seeing that this world is changing at a great rapid pace. And the belief systems around relationships even are changing dramatically. What it was thought to be a certain way is changing very rapidly. And so relationships, yes, may be more beneficial to you or another person because of the different types of facets that are happening. We're not saying that this is the case in this particular time now, we'd like to mention. But we are just saying relationships, yes, can change very quickly. And it is because of the vibrations that are changing very quickly within yourself.
You know, with getting back a little bit to intuition or knowing or connection with your inner being or whatever. There are people who have had experiences with other beings that it seems like because of that, they have been able to more quickly connect or come under to be more awakened, more connected, more knowing, more intuition. What is it about that would cause that?
The keeper has some things he would like to say, but one moment. The vibrations that you are, and the vibrations that are throughout the world, and what others can be doing or not doing, and connecting to and not connecting to. You are your own unique vibration. You will connect to those things that are very congruent with who you are in those particular moments of time. So if it does become that one person connects with one certain thing, it is because they are connecting with those things naturally, congruently, because it is part of their vibrational state at that time. Just as you, throughout your life, are connecting to different aspects, new teachers, new sorts of situations that are created throughout your life that you have brought about, all the things that you have, you own, or somewhat bought or attracted in some way. It's much the same. It is the same way that you have acquired much of what is in your life now. And so the focuses have changed through your life and is acquired in your life, and the natural law of vibration, of natural law of attraction, natural law of who you are in essence is creating that sort of scenario for yourself. And so this is where you also begin to form your own belief systems, although your belief systems on the other side of the veil are different from the one that you are in this reality. It is just simply you are constructing a new understanding through this particular life and now. Just know that you are harmonizing all the time, whether you know it or not, with different vibrations on a constant basis. And so you will be attracting and bringing different types of things to yourself.
So what is it then, if that's even possible to answer? What is it that causes some people to have those vibrations of connecting with other beings, for example, where all people don't do that? What is it about those individuals that is uniquely different, that because of whatever that difference is, they have an affinity, sort of, with other beings that seem to support their expanded enlightenment.
There is a two-way street, we would say here. It is sometimes the situation of the beings themselves finding these people and connecting with them. And then there is the people themselves that are also searching out to be connected with these certain types of beings. And they do so, and very well, both sides of the coin here connect very well to the other side. It is a connection that they are simply wanting to make, one or the other, or both.
Well, if you don't know what you don't know, how do you ever make progress? If it's all about your consciousness,
it may be that what you do know that just ain't so. It may be that what it is that you are, and it is okay to be in that unknowing place. That is okay, because then you become a more true seeker of what is the truth. And you're more liable to try on more different aspects to see if these things are working for you. You don't know it. Yes, that is the one true thing about this world, is you don't know certain things until many of the times you try them on. And it's okay. Please, we would love for you to try much of the different ideas on. It's okay to make mistakes. It is one thing a human fears many times. It has been taught through belief systems that making mistakes is a bad thing. If you get an F, it's a bad thing. But we ask to please make great mistakes. For out of the greatest mistakes you can find some of the greatest truths within yourself, some of the greatest new pieces that you have now within your tool belt to do something with. And you'll also know when certain things work for you or not, and you'll be able to gather more ideas to do all these certain ways. In essence, we are all making mistakes. We are all going through an evolutionary process of who we are and understanding ourselves in a new facet of time, in a new facet of ways. And this earth will naturally teach you those sorts of lessons that you wish you would have known in the past. Experience much and be in a great mode of wanting to experience a lot. It's okay to make certain mistakes in order to understand and to understand who you are and understand what it is that you are capable of. Many times it is through the great mistakes you know within the great people that have carried a lot of light in their light. They have made much of great mistakes. But yet you have seen how their lives have been enhanced by those mistakes. And they were able to bring something brand new out of the so-called carnage of those mistakes.
Not necessarily a mistake, but people who have near-death experiences tend to come out much more awake, if you will, than not having had gone through that experience. So, what is it about a near-death experience that adds to someone's enlightenment to be able to see more, be more intuitive, be more knowing?
With the near-death experience, the experiencer is going through a phantom part of their life, where much of what the broader focus is where they were getting some of the different ideas. We were going to say BS out of the way. He didn't like that word. So much of the focus of yourself becomes more narrow, because now it is what it is that you have, and you want to carry your vibration more in a focused manner of what it is that you want to attract for yourself. And so much of the ideas that are on the outskirts and the peripherals of your vision of what it is that you are, and experiencing all the gamut of many different things, your focus becomes more narrow at a near-death experience, because you chose to stay when you could have gone. But in choosing to stay, you wanted to fulfill a little bit more of certain aspects within yourself. And so you get some of that out of the way to bring more of yourself through, a more focused part of yourself through, a new part of yourself moves through. You do not have to have a near-death experience to bring this sort of focus into your life, but you can bring more of yourself through at a much greater stride, a much greater depth, when you have such an experience happen or occur in near types of fashions. These are parts of yourself that want to come forward, parts of yourself that want to be a little more focused into what it is that you're going to spend your energy on. You may see that people would suddenly do things that you would not realize that they would be able to do, or that they are seeing new sorts of things within themselves. And they are bringing on new capabilities that are naturally that they can connect to. And so there's more of a bleed through of what it is that is themselves that are coming through, and in aspects that are wanting to step forward into their life.
So it's not only just getting rid of some of the distractions that we get caught up in, but it's also choosing to greater limit what we're walking towards. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Some people who have had near-death experiences have explained it as they've been shown something that they didn't know before. So if that is true, who would it be that's showing them? Is that an aspect of themselves?
Yes, these are aspects of themselves, but you must understand what is beyond the veil is all an aspect of yourself in great depth. Now, many times they will have encounters with certain beings that they are familiar with, and that is what they will experience. Or that would be what would be welcoming over to the other side as they make a transition, or as they question whether they should make a transition of time. You must understand there are many outs that you have provided for yourself to come out of this world. And it is all your choosing. It may not seem that it is in this reality, but much of this is your choosing, whether you decide to walk through these particular things and to have these particular experiences within yourself.
So our staying, as long as we wish to, is also our own determination?
To a degree, yes.
And so what does that mean, to our degree?
To a degree that your bodies are also coming through time as they are spinning through an old facet of energy to a new facet of energy. It is a hard thing on a body. But we are not saying that a body cannot handle these new changes. You can, and this will be noticed more, that people are going to live longer. As long as you have something to do. As long as many of you will try to retire and kick back, and you see what happens very quickly when someone retires to celebrate the end of their life. Their life seems to be shortened quite rapidly in this case, because you are more or less finished in this vibration. And it is okay, it is not a right or wrong thing. But as long as you have more or less a quest for yourself, something that you want to bring forward in this world, you will always have more of a facet, more of a connection to this place. And so you will want to stay and tarry and be among the living longer.
In terms of human years, is there an average time that it takes to make a turnaround and come back? I mean, do we choose that, and is it eons, or is it relatively quickly? Is it very greatly? I mean, what is that?
Sometimes it is very quickly. You will see in young people that even newborns, they are only here for a very split moment. For there might be some things that are just not so grounding for them, and so they will pass on to the other side very early. You see this as a very bad thing in many cases, but this is not quite so. They're just not grounding very well certain vibrations, or some of the aspects that they were hoping for wasn't going to be convenient at the time. They may try other avenues to come in the same sorts of ways. Other times, they will try a new sort of scenario to come in another sort of way. Now, with yourself and time itself, with all beings, there's going to be different time frames. And yes, you have some of these within yourself that were at a much younger age that you could have been gone out of this life at a sooner time. But these are set up for yourself so that you have ways of being able to know if you want to stay really or not. It is set up more or less by yourself before you came. Some of these situations, not all. Some of the situations you are attracting, and you're bringing in your own type of energy that creates that sort of thing.
Do we have a spiritual community? And if so, do we share our experience of being in the body when we return to it?
You have a spiritual community, yes, and it's quite large, I might say. Each of you understand each other on different sorts of ways. Some of you, even in this room, have worked together in other types of lives. But we would like to say that you will not be carrying your body, for one, to the other side, but your bodiness, your embedding, your essence of who you are will be carried over.
That's really the knowing or the truth that this belief that ascension means that we're ascending as body, mind, and soul is not really true. We're actually just ascending as a soul group or as a soul energy.
The group, yes, as your own particular energies, even for the person that doesn't seem awake, is in fact moving through experiences and are moving and ascending in their own sorts of ways. The human is rapidly ascending faster than other types of kingdoms on this earth, for instance, like the animal kingdom. They have always been moving at a faster rate because the capability to ground light and ground new ideas have always been around. But you are making a greater vibrationary shift now that can allow for more of humanity, not just to be in the earth, more hemisphere kind of way of thinking, but more of an intergalactic level of being. And this will happen over the next few years. And so Earth and humanity and who you are is beginning to change. The dynamics and systems are changing quite fast here. And we will say that it is happening quite well also, because you have been able to transmute some of the things that we weren't sure was possible with this place. New ideas are coming forward all the time. You are not such a slave to the system. You are waking up as a people. You're taking your own ground. And you're taking responsibilities of your own life. And that is really commendable. And others are watching.
What kind of an impact does our technology actually have on the planet itself, such as combustible engine? Does that really interfere with the weather patterns or what we call global warming?
Not as much as you would think. But the ideas around technology have been stifled many times throughout history, and more recently by big corporations that are within your systems. There are new energies, new technologies that can be grounded, but it is when the people can accept these sorts of things. It is when the masses decide this is going to be so. And not feel that it is this sort of vibrationary type of way that this system is running now.
I have understood that mass consciousness actually affects the weather.
It does? Yes, and it can. And you can create...
Storms?
Yes, you can create storms. You can create sorts of ideas of consciousness. And even in the unconsciousness is where you may find also the dust bowls and other sorts of things, for they are less conscious. Is more or less where the things that are not very conscious would be going. So there are different levels that you can connect with all things in this sort of way and fashion. And especially harmonizing with a larger group to create such things such as a storm would be very good, beneficial. You can see the outcomes of what that can be. A lot of this has to do with your own belief system. If you feel that you cannot connect in some way, that you will not connect in some way.
Well, for people who are not on any kind of a spiritual journey, but who continue to struggle and are all caught up in survival, is there a brotherhood of spirit that is assisting them in their awakening, or are they doomed to just continue having pain? Because I have a lot of family members who live like that, and it causes me a lot of pain to watch them, witness it. I don't know how to help them.
There are going to be unique vibrations throughout time, and survival has been something that is congruent to a part of yourself, that you feel a need to have certain aspects taken care of for yourself. It has been something that has been throughout history, and yes, it is an old paradigm. And some of these facets you may have been feeling are somewhat true in your reality. But it does not mean it has to be a certain way. There are different controls that are happening, different things that people are experiencing within their own reality. If they fear something, they will continue to look for those things that they fear in and try to guard themselves so that they don't have such an experience. When really, they may be attracting that very experience that they are fearing, even though they are gathering all the safety measures that they can do. Much of the time it is where you are placing your focus that you are gathering much of that fear closer to you. In the same sense, they are connected to another type of vibration, a more mass vibration, which is not in quite the same fear mode as they may be in. And so, there's two different realities playing out for them. They are seeing certain things that are troubling them, and yet they are also seeing things that may not be quite as troubling for them as well. And as they are able to release some of their fears on this, we're not saying that they must release all the safety mechanisms, or if that's one way to keep some of the fear at bay, then good. But they are developing within themselves a sort of vibration, and it can be transmuted in some ways. We want to see that you understand that you yourself can be an acrobat in certain scenarios. If something bad were to happen, you're simply following your heart to what it is that you would like, being like what another had said, in a constant state of vibration where you're trying to feel what good things can always happen. And so you are attracting more on a constant basis of those good things, and you are picking more of that out of the essence of life that's around you. And as long as you are focusing on these sorts of things in your life, you will bring much more of this in a much more concentrated form to you. And so what may be true for someone else will be changing. A dual reality is created in such scenario where one part of the world or one part of you is humanity, one part of your neighbor may be experiencing a whole nother world, you are experiencing a whole nother world as well.
I'd just like to take a moment and see if we could consciously connect to a situation that just happened yesterday. A little girl, 14 years old in Pakistan. Her name is Maleta, and she found herself in a situation that did not work. I don't know if it worked out for her in the situation that she really wanted to speak of, which was to find her own voice, and which she did. And because of that, she was a situation happened where she was hurt, and
He was shot twice.
yeah. Well, I'm trying to avoid the drama. I'm just trying to get to the point of how can we help, like Lydia was saying, even with her family, when you know something tragic has happened and you don't want to go there, and you know it's the act, it's not the person, you're trying to separate that energy and move it forward. Is it really for the better good of all? Are we really, or can we just all come together and applaud someone who did something that we probably couldn't have done?
It's not necessary that you should judge this as a good or bad thing. It is a situation that has happened. But it would be beneficial, we think, that you would send your energy in the fashion of, yes, you can applaud such a thing for standing up for her own belief systems and what she felt was right. But there is a whole other side of things that would be very uncomfortable. The person that was shooting was also doing the same thing and felt like they were standing up for their own belief systems and defending what they felt was right. And it is so hard for a human to say, well, this is the right way that there is and it should be. These are the great differences that are within each other. Now, we say with just like we would say with the weather patterns, you can affect situations and you can bring a healing energy to that area and to those people that are most affected by these sorts of situations. And that would be a beneficial thing, for they would feel your vibration in this, and they would feel your love that you want to express towards this sort of situation. And that would bring more harmonization to this world.
But on the other hand, if we dwell on those kind of things, don't we just get more of it?
Yes. Many times that's how great wars and calamities are started, is many people are focused in small situations, in great calamities. And that's much of what is happening on a scale to some degree within your media, that they are zooming in on certain things and bad things that are happening around the world, even though it is affecting very few people. It worries many more, and many more are taking more of the energy on.
Okay, we've been here for over an hour. Is there anyone who would like to ask another question? We'll kind of wind it down.
I want to ask one more question, because I just recently learned that our spirit guides are aspects, portions of ourself. So you are portions of Ryan?
Yes. That is one reason why we are congruent with the vibration that is here. He holds the energy easily because of the same way. He is an aspect. He is a part of the energy.
Thank you.
Well, that's a great example of the willingness to surrender to your highest good.
Are we going to see more like you in Boise, Idaho?
Maybe not in the quite channeling form, but you will see more like in the form of channeling them, their aspects of what it is that they want to be doing with their life. It won't necessarily be labeled as the channeler that goes and talks in front of people in this sort of scenario. It will be that you will see them in their own facets, sort of like you would see an Oprah Winfrey standing in her own power. It is what she was born to do. You will see more of that. Seemingly, people are doing what they are born to do. They are channeling that aspect of themselves more often, and they are becoming, and they're bringing their light more often. This is what we would like to convey most of all to all of you now, is channel that part of yourself. You have a connection within yourself. It is not a magical, mystical sort of way of thinking. You are a being, a sovereign being that can connect and will connect, wants to connect, desperately wants to bring this forward into your life to fulfill what it is that you have come here to do. Look at these aspects, dear ones. Look very deeply. Know that you can, you will, as you feel that you will, connect and become that which you want to be. It is with the greatest of joy that we are here to speak among you. Treat each other with the greatest of respect. Nurture each one of you as much as you can. For you are looking in the eyes of other creators, and you are creating what it is in your particular world. It's been quite the pleasure for us to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. How are you feeling?
Good.
You're cold?
Oh yeah, yeah. I still have allergies though, so there's always a little bit of something.
Such a nuisance.
I remember this Abraham gathering tonight here at 6:30.
Was it tonight?
Yeah.
Tonight. Tonight. Okay, we got the whole thing.
Good.